What's up guys, today I'm going to show you how to create 3D objects to make your AMVs more creative. The only plugin you need for this tutorial is called Element, so if you want to follow along you need this plugin. So let's get right into the video. We're going to be using this scene for this tutorial and we're going to add 3D stars in this scene. So the first thing we're going to do is add a solid layer, hold Ctrl+Y and press OK. Or you can also go to here, right click, new and then solid. Alright, then click on your solid layer, so make sure it's selected. Then we're going to add an effect called Element. And we're going to click on Scene Setup. Then the next thing we're going to do is go to Import. And make sure to select a .obj file, which you can find online. So if you don't have an OBJ file yet, you can go to Google. So if you just search up star and then OBJ file, you will find a lot of models that you can use for free. So we're going to select the star.obj file. Click open, and then you can just press OK. Alright, now you should be able to see your star or other object in the scene here. So if you hold left click, you can rotate. If you hold your middle click, you can move around. So those are really the only two things you need to know. Now we're going to click on this star object here and go to normalize size. And that is the only thing that we need to do inside of here. So you can just press OK. And as you can see, our star or other object will appear in here. The next thing is to go to group 1 and then particle replicator, and then you can choose how many times you want your particle to be in your scene. So for this tutorial we'll just choose 5 times. Then the replicator shape, I usually choose sphere, but you can also try out other ones. Then the next thing is to go to shape options, go to scatter, and then here you can move them around even more. So if we increase the scatter value, you can see they will spread out. We can change these others as well and just play around with it. Then the last thing to change the position, in case you don't really like the positioning of your stars, is the seed value. So you can just increase this. So for example, I like this seed. And then you can also move it around a little, so you can do that here on position XY. Alright, then you can close the particle replicator and you can go to particle look. Then here you can go to particle rotation. And then you can also mess around with the rotation. So what I usually like to change is the randomize angle. And then you can just randomize it. Then here you can also change the tint if you would like that. So maybe something like blue. And then you can close group 1. Then the last thing is to change the lighting. So for now it's very basic lighting. And if you want to change that, you can go to render settings, lighting, and then go to add lighting. So now it's on none, but we can also change it to, for example, natural. But other ones will look good as well. So for example, cinema, it's also something different, but I don't really like this one. Maybe stylized. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. Alright, then you can also rotate the lighting. So go to additional lighting and then rotation. And then you can change it, as you can see. And you can change it on all axes. So just mess around with it. Okay, so like this. And then you can close everything. And now we're going to animate our 3D objects. So we're going to go to the start of our clip. Make sure your solid layer is selected. And then you want to go to group 1 again. Go to particle replicator. And here you want to animate the position XY. Then you want to change the Y value so it goes to the bottom. Like this, so it's off screen. And then you want to go to the middle, somewhere around here. And then you can bring it back up. Alright, then let's select it, press U. And then select them all. Press F9 and go to the graph editor with this button here. Then you want to right click and select speed graph and just make sure you have a graph that looks like this. So you drag both handles to the left and then it will look like this. Alright, now it goes quite slow, so if you want it even faster, you just need to drag this one more to the left. Alright, now it does look a little stiff now, so we can change that by adding some randomized rotation. But first I'll add some more scatter. So I'll click on this icon here next to the scatter value. And then you can bring up your keyframes again by pressing U. Go to the same keyframe and then scatter it even more. And then the same thing, select them both, press F9, go to the graph editor and make the same graph. Alright, and same thing again, you can drag this keyframe outwards or inwards if you want it to go faster or slower. So I want it to go a little bit slower. The last thing is the rotation. So close this particle replicator, go to particle look, and then this time we'll go to this value here, the rotation random. Click on this icon, and then you can go to somewhere around here again and increase the value. Alright, then same thing, bring up the keyframes with U, and then press F9, graph editor, and make the same graph once again. Alright, and now as you can see, our 3D objects will pop up from the bottom, and it looks really smooth, and you can obviously make it in reverse when it goes towards the end of the clip, because now they're just randomly floating here. Then the last thing you can do to make it look like it's drawn, like I did in my first AMV, is to just add an effect called S Auto Paint. You will need Sapphire for this, but this is definitely not necessary. And then you can just play around with the frequency and the stroke align. So yeah, that's the floating 3D objects effect. Alright, hopefully you've learned a lot, and if you want me to help you even more with After Effects, then make sure to click the first link in the description down below. Alright, bye bye.